It's crazy, but in Throne of Liberty you can fully modify your user interface and even share it without downloading any add-ons. Whether you're a seasoned MMO player and something in the interface just doesn't feel right, or you're pretty new to MMOs and don't even know you can move your HUD around, I hope this video gives you some ideas on how to personalize your screen. I don't claim this is the best way to position your HUD elements. Frankly, this stuff is very personal, so I will just share my thinking and maybe it will inspire your own style. What are we going to start with? We're gonna start with the default HUD. So this is how it would look for you when you start to play the game. If you want to change any elements, you go into the escape menu and you press edit HUD. Now that's going to be the interface for your editing. A lot of the panels are movable and this is your kind of main control panel, which I'm going to explain the different presets and how to load files a little bit later. But what's important here is you can resize the whole heads-up display HUD. It starts off, I believe, at tier 2 as a default. Let's reset it, confirm. That's the default layout. So let's talk about what I don't like about this, and then I'll show you a couple of my layouts and talk about the reasoning behind them. Let's start with the HP bar. It's tucked away all the way in the top left corner. I don't like it. I like to see the HP bar next to my character, so I would move it closer along with the buff bar as well. Now let's confirm it for now. Somewhere here, maybe a little bit lower, is where I like to see my HP. Definitely in my immediate field of view. Same goes to my target. My selected target is by default shown at the top of the screen. I want to quickly be able to see what weapons they're using, what is the name, maybe I know the target, maybe I know to hunt for them or not target them. So I would definitely bring that closer. Similarly with the friendly target as well, especially if I'm healing, I want my targets to the right of my character somewhere, so I'm bringing my target to the right here. The party menu and the party HP bars I also bring closer to my field of view. I usually keep them on the left side where my HP is, but if I'm playing a healer, or if you're playing a healer, you can consider putting them on the right, for example where your targets are, because your party becomes your targets when you're healing. I'm going to show you quickly how this looks like by loading one of my presets, for example this one. You can notice that my HP is on the left, my targets are on the right here. Similarly with my target assist here, that would pop up if I was in the party, and my friendly target to the right as well. In my mind, my screen is generally split something like this. The right side is all about targeting, so I'll have my enemy target here, my friendly target here, and my target assist right there. And then the left side is all about me and my team. Here's my HP bar, my buffs are right here, and my teammates' HP bars are over here as well. Skills are at the bottom, and then I have this whole area free for target acquisition, basically for my PvP fighting. In terms of my preferences, this HUD is a little bit bigger, it's size 2. And you can see that the skills are brought closer to my character. This is whenever I'm learning a new class or just need to track my cooldowns, closely track my cooldowns when I'm playing something like Crossbow Dagger, for example. When I have played a class for a long time, or just generally don't need to see my skills next to me, I usually go for a smaller HUD. You can see TL small HUD. I'll load it up. You'll see that the size is tier 1 now, just the smallest size we can get, and the skills are hidden away all the way down at the bottom. Now, I don't need to specifically glance at them too much. I remember my rotations, I remember my cooldowns, so they're just all the way down as a reference when I need them. They're almost covering my XP bar, but of course, since I'm fully leveled up, I don't care about the XP bar anymore, so I just press it all the way down. Another thing I like to do compared to the default layout is to hide these unnecessary elements. You'll see that there are little lines sticking out of the skill bar. Right now we cannot customize our skill bar, so you always have these lines showing. And so what I do is I hide those lines behind some of the additional buttons and potions that I need to have on screen, just to save a little bit more real estate here. Having your skills all the way down when you don't need to kind of look at them and track your cooldowns also gives you some real estate for targetable skills. Something like this one, you know, I can target in front of me, but I can also easily target behind me with a lot of space all around my character. Okay, next one is Minimap. I don't really move it that much. I tuck it all the way into the right corner so I can get rid of the empty space on the right of the minimap. And because I still need this toggle button to be visible, I have the empty space on the top of the minimap available for me. So I keep my dungeon tokens in there. This is your dungeon energy and your open world dungeon farming energy as well. These tokens, I don't move them from their default positions too much because I have that empty space to keep them in there. And I don't really hide my minimap that much. Of course you can if you need the extra real estate and maybe a large scale serious fight, you can just hide it, but otherwise I play it with the minimap open to see the resources. You might notice I have my return to base button, the return to town button, hidden behind the minimap. I definitely don't need it next to my important skills here cluttering the space, because there's nothing to monitor. You just press it once and you return to base. I use Control B. I think by default it's B, so I don't need to see this button. It's hidden behind the minimap. Next one on the right side is my quest list, and this is also where the open world event information is displayed. There's not really a good way to have it anywhere else, because if you try to move it to the left, it's still gonna roll up into the right. So you're gonna have this little button out of place. It's gonna expand to the left, and so it doesn't really fit. If you really need it to be somewhere else, you can move it, but I just have it in the default position, and when I fight I just hide it and it doesn't bother me at all. One other small thing that we must not forget is your stamina bar. I think by default it's just a little bit higher and to the right. A lot of my important information is to the right of my character. Same with my stamina bar. Another idea when I really tried to learn stamina management and tank blocking, I had it right on top of my character. So whenever I block, I see my stamina right in front of me. But yeah, that's just something that you might want to have temporarily. Otherwise, I have it next to my character on the right. Alright, we discussed my logic behind the minimap and the currency, like the Abyss tokens. Let's quickly touch on the other currency, your Lucent, your Solant, and all the other coins and mystic keys that you have here. This panel is expandable, and pretty much that's why I keep it on the left in the default position, because if you try to move it to the right, you won't be able to push it all the way up against the wall. I'll show you here, all the way up against the right side. For example, somewhere here, it's gonna still be kind of out because it needs to be expanded, and now I can't even contract it, so I just keep it in the default position on the left. All right, next thing we're gonna do is talk about the loot drops. So this is the interface for whenever you have picked up some loot or some experience and money. I like to keep it close to my character again, because I'll see what I dropped, or if I'm farming, I can keep track of it, and it disappears really quickly. So it doesn't really bother me in like any situations. In PvP, you're not really picking up loot or XP, so this doesn't even show up. But I like to keep it here. It's right in my immediate field of view, and so that's why I keep it here on the left. Another trick that people started using recently with the new update is using the pop-up chat. So you could configure a special chat window with only the information that you want to see, such as, for example, loot drop, your experience, and some other important information, and then pop it out and place it somewhere that is going to be convenient. When you press escape, it's going to be almost fully transparent, and I've seen people just playing with this type of interface so that they can keep track of their loot drops for a longer time. See, I've got some Solent and quality parchment, but that quickly disappears. It's still gonna stay here, and you can see what you or your party members have dropped for the longer time. You can press enter and even scroll up and double check. Our next one is kill feed. This is where I have it at the bottom. I don't really need to see my kills or my party's kills that much, but if you're a raid leader, or if you're your group leader, or if you're actually recording for clips, I would recommend you put it somewhere front and center so that it's always visible whenever you get a kill or whenever your team gets a kill. For example, as a raid leader, you want to see this kill feed going, and then you'll see if your team is actually getting kills and winning the fight. So I would put it front and center, but for me, I usually play with it a little bit tucked away in the bottom here, and with the skills next to my character. With this preset, I have the kill feed all the way at the bottom. Now, another thing you can do is really compact your stellarites and your walled tree leaves. They have these triangle geometry that fits perfectly next to your weapon interface. So this is like front and center for me. I can select my stellarites and I can see my walled tree leaves. And another option is having the stellarites here next to your guardian. Before an important fight, you always want to check you have the correct guardian equipped, you have the correct stellarites equipped, you have the correct potions and the correct skill set equipped. So it's all kind of tucked away in a similar place where you can go guardian, stellarites, potions, skills. In terms of the wall tree leaves, I put them in this version, I put them next to my Amitoy button, all the way to the side. You can just buy a lot of them, put them to the side and forget about them. Now, since we've mentioned Amitoy and the additional buttons, that's where I hide them because you only need them in low stress situations. So you can always go to the corner and press to go into your Amitoy house, or press this button to get your fishing rod out and to hide your fishing rod away. We'll see that this Amitoy popped up with some text here, so it's a good time to show you what I do with the different notifications. The Amitoy generally is here by default, and then NPC dialog is right here. I don't need them being this close to my field of view. I actually want to remove them completely, because as somebody who played this game many hours, this becomes a little bit annoying, you know, the random NPCs talking to you about the event that you're participating in, or Amitoy giving its unsolicited advice. So because you cannot fully hide it, I put it all the way in the corner, and so that way whenever, you know, I'm doing something, I can ignore these messages and don't really pay attention to them. And another tip I want to share is the important system message display area. This is gonna pop up whenever somebody drops a purple item, so this is good at first if your friends are dropping purple items. It's nice, you can see them at the top of the screen, you can congratulate them, but after a few days, after a week of playing, you'll see a lot of people dropping the purple items, and it's always gonna be popping up in here. It becomes annoying really quickly, so you cannot disable this fully, at least at the moment, but you can hide it away. I put it all the way in the right corner, and so if this message contains 2 lines, it is only going to display the first line, and it is going to hide the second line. So it is already making the message smaller and all the way out of your field of view, so you won't get distracted whenever somebody drops an item and this announcement pops up on your screen. The boss panel, I keep it at the top of my screen. There's not much to talk about. Whenever I'm fighting the boss, whether PvE or PvP, when I'm targeting it, it pops up. When I'm targeting another player, then it disappears. So it doesn't really bother me that much. Your buffs is another element you can move around. I like to have it under my HP because when I glance to the left at my HP, I can also glance to the same spot at my buffs and debuffs. But some people like to have it, you know, just under their character, for example, something like this, so that, you know, they're always looking at their buffs and debuffs as they're fighting. That's also an option for you. Definitely a preference thing. I like it nicely tucked away under my HP bar. While we're at it, let me show you what I do with some other small elements here. I have my B counter target right under my character model. Also your cast bar, pretty default spot. Whenever I'm casting my skills, it pops up here next to my character. And the general system message display area, this is for whenever I'm out of range for my skills, or you know, something happens in the middle of battle, it's gonna throw me an error here, and it's nice to see next to your character. This little button, the red bag, is for whenever my loot bag is full. It's usually tucked away on the side here, and so sometimes you don't really notice that your bags are full until you are unable to pick up any more loot, and then you have to quickly sort that out. Well, I have this next to my character, so whenever my bags become full, this pops up straight away. I see it in my field of view and I deal with it when I need to. Of course, that doesn't happen in PvP situations because you're not really picking up a lot of loot when you're PvPing. Okay, one last thing I want to show you is how to export and import different user interfaces. So you go into the Edit HUD menu and you press Export. You type in any name, let's say test name 1, and you press Confirm. That exported whatever user interface changes you've made, and it exported the interface that you have on screen. Then to load one of your interfaces or somebody else's interface is you go into Edit File tab, and then you find the interface you want in this drop down. Now, to be able to use somebody else's interface, you would have to download the file and then go into your PC, Documents, TL folder, and User HUD folder. You paste the file here, and that's how it's gonna pop up in this list for you. Obviously, the location of the folder could be different in the global Steam version, so I will pin a comment down below if it changes, so you can easily find the location of the folder. But yeah, that's how you import. You select whatever you pasted into that folder, let's say TL close skills, and then you press load and press confirm, and your interface has changed. That's pretty much all I wanted to share with you guys about the user interface today. If you have other preferences, feel free to drop them in the comments so that other players can look for other options as well. If you enjoyed this video or found something useful, give it a like and subscribe for more videos like these. Some of them are popping up on screen right now, so feel free to check them out. But for now, Crazytrick out.